Morning, everyone. Super excited to be up here and have the chance to tell this story. This is a story I absolutely love to tell. I love it because it's changing every day. While we're sitting here, there's a lot of crazy things going on in the field. Super excited about it. So, with that, this is a story that's not just about intelligent machines or milestones. It is about mindset. It's the story of how we as an industry are learning to think and work differently. How we moved away, or how we moved from, we've always done it this way, to asking, how can we do it better? Now, this story begins, like all great stories, in the lovely Duncan, Oklahoma. Hope everyone's been there. So, on a cold March morning in 1949, an innovative individual would commercialize a technology that would forever disrupt the energy landscape. On that morning, Earl P. Halliburton pumped the very first commercial frac job. And now, in order to execute that job, he communicated a plan to a pump operator, who then manually controlled the pump. And from that first job and through the decades, we saw the equipment improve, we saw the chemistry improve, and ultimately, the efficiencies improve. Everything has changed on a frac location. Absolutely everything. Especially when you look at a frac spread today. Everything has changed except for how we control the spread. That process has largely remained unchanged for decades. As a matter of fact, for 70 years, we have been telling the machines what to do since that first day. We tell them when we want more barrels, no, we want less barrels. We want more sand, no, we want less sand. We want you to go faster. No, we want you to slow down. Start, stop. For decades, we have been telling the machines how they should run, how a frac job should be performed, because that's the way we've always done it. That is until this last November. Because on that day, everything changed. In the Delaware Basin, a frac spread did something that no spread has ever done before. As a matter of fact, on that day, the machines started to communicate back to us. They started to tell us how to place the barrels. They started to tell us how a frac stage should be performed. For the first time ever, the reservoir and the surface equipment were talking to each other in real time, telling us how to get the most out of the rock. I mean, this is crazy. We've never done this before. Let's just let that sink in for a second here. After decades of telling the machines what to do for 70 years, they started to tell us what to do and what should be done. These weren't guesses. These were not averages. These were real-time decisions, real-time actions, all driven by the reservoir itself. And in that moment, we've always done it this way, finally gave way to we can simply do it better. Because what happened in November wasn't just a milestone. It was a total shift in mindset. The dawn of something new, and that something is ZEUS IQ, the industry's first intelligent fracturing platform. ZEUS IQ delivers something the industry has never had before: fully autonomous control over frac execution and asset performance. At its core, ZEUS IQ is the integration of two key technologies. First, there's OCTIV. That's our digital fracturing service that delivers autonomous surface control. It's the automation that exists at the surface. It runs the fleet, it adjusts everything in real time, it executes the frac job now with the simple push of a button. And we're going to see that here in a second. Then there's Sensori. That's the other key technology. That's our subsurface fracturing monitoring system that delivers real-time feedback from the reservoir. When we merge those two technologies together, when we close the loop, if you will, what happens is this allows the system not only follow orders, but to make decisions, to adjust, to optimize, all while pumping. ZEUS IQ gives engineers the ability to execute decisions at the speed of now, not months after waiting for production to come in. And once you know what works, you can then scale it again and again and again. You can elevate your best practices from a single well to a pad to an asset. And that's exactly how you shift from improving efficiency to improving asset performance. You see, what makes ZEUS IQ intelligent is that it actually is listening to the reservoir and then it's responding. It's not smart because it collects data. It's smart because it knows what to do with the data, and it acts on it. One of the most powerful capabilities that exists is that it turns insight into action is automation. And that's where OCTIV comes in. You heard about it earlier. OCTIV is the automation engine inside ZEUS IQ. It's what turns a great frac design into flawless execution consistently and efficiently. With OCTIV, we're not just improving how we frac, we're redefining what a good frac looks like. So let's talk about efficiency. We always have to go there in PE. It's just the nature of the business. Efficiency always comes first. So we're ramping pumps faster and with more precision. We're holding rate exactly to customer's design, stage after stage, and we're cutting pump time along the way. Now, second thing is, let's talk about control. We're now putting that back to where it belongs, into the hands of the engineer who actually designed the job. And one of the ways we do that is through our software system called OCTIV Connect, which is our way we connect to the spread. So OCTIV Connect gives our customers real-time visibility into what's happening on location, but it also gives them the ability to interact with the spread, drive performance, control operations from wherever they are. Matter of fact, you can do that from the office, you can do that from your home, you could do that from here in the beach in Miami. With just a few clicks, customers can now control everything on a frac site. They can control the target pressure, how aggressive they want to be with rate, how they want the sand to start, how they want to basically mitigate a screen out. OCTIV gives customers the ability to set controls on every aspect of a location. What you just saw is the power of OCTIV Auto Frac. It's bringing pumps offline, it's taking pumps offline, and it's detecting issues before they become failures, all in real time, all without human intervention. Today, OCTIV is running on every single one of our unconventional crews around the globe. We have now executed over 25,000 push-button frac stages, and we're just getting started. Surface efficiency is only one side of the story, though. To truly optimize fracture performance, we need to go deeper, literally. We need to understand what's happening downhole, where the fractures are going, and how the reservoir is responding, whether the treatment is actually working the way we planned it to. That's where our other technology comes in, Sensori. This is our answer to measuring subsurface fracture performance. And we designed this to be really low cost, easy to deploy, and scalable enough to use on every single stage. Before, it would cost millions to deploy this kind of capability. This data was incredibly expensive, it was operationally complex, and although everyone in the room wanted this information, the barriers were just too high. So we've removed all of them. With Sensori, with the simple click of a button now, we can capture subsurface information on any spread anywhere in the world without impacting operations. So this is how it works. With Sensori, basically the frac pumps send a pulse down the wellbore. That pulse travels down the casing and then back up to the surface. And that signature that we capture tells us how effectively we place the stage. It specifically tells us how well we stimulated each and every cluster. Sensori gives our customers a clear, quantifiable view of stage quality, and we can do this anywhere in the world. Based on that feedback, then, they can dynamically adjust their completions to optimize subsurface fracture placement with a simple click of a button. Once the customer dials in the ideal parameters, we basically push that over to OCTIV, who then executes the inputs automatically. But that wasn't good enough. We didn't stop there. We also needed to know how well the fracture was placed. How did they travel within the reservoir? And in order to do that, we needed another scalable solution. So we started to deploy low-cost disposable fiber optics in offset wells to measure the growth and interaction between these wells. And again, it's completely autonomous. We don't have to send people out there. We send a box, everything is self-contained, and it captures all of that information. Everything processed in real time, all can be actioned right now. As for scale, it's massive. As a matter of fact, since we launched this technology, we've actually captured over 40,000 stages with it. What's crazy is once you capture 40,000 stages, you can start to see things in the reservoir that weren't possible before. Think about those 3D, have you ever looked at those those maps where they show kind of, you stare at it and eventually the ship comes out. That's what we have now. At 40,000 stages, you can see things in the asset that weren't possible. So our customers that are using that insight to optimize their treatments, eliminating unnecessary fluid and proppant, minimizing waste, and ultimately improving recovery. Because when you can measure the fracture, you can master it. And that's the power of Sensori. Now, we have spent decades chasing this idea at Halliburton. The ability to see the subsurface in real time, control the spread with a push of a button, and do it all with confidence. The thing is, it's real now. It's happening. This isn't a science project. This isn't a prototype. It's not some high-end graphics on the screen behind me. It's actually working in the field, and it's changing the game. We have been running autonomous fracturing on over 4 continents. We've collected over 25,000 stages to date, and last month we hit a major, major milestone. The very first closed-loop automated frac job. For the first time ever, the machines didn't just analyze what was happening downhole, they acted on it instantly, without waiting for us. An engineer pushed the design to the spread. The spread then started to act on it. Sensori saw something happening in the reservoir, and the spread instantly reacted. ZEUS IQ determined that the original plan was not ideal for the reservoir, and it made adjustments automatically on the fly. Matter of fact, it's now adjusted. We've been watching it and monitoring it. It's making adjustments on about 30% of all the stages so far. Because the spread now has enough intelligence to think and execute on its own, for the first time ever, we're not just optimizing efficiency at the surface, we're optimizing it at the reservoir level. See, ZEUS IQ, it's not just a platform, it's the realization of what operators have always wanted. The confidence to act not just after the job, but in real time. It's the ability to make changes, not by instinct, but with insight. And the power to repeat those results over and over and over again. So, in summary, we're no longer guessing, we're no longer waiting, we don't have to react anymore. Now we can see, we're controlling, and we're optimizing again and again at scale. This is the future we've all been building towards, and that future is powered by ZEUS IQ. Thank you.